Okay.
Switching environment.
That's right. Yeah, because it's a therapeutic tool, change of environment, change of perspective, looking at life from a whole different lens, or out a different window, I guess. Either way.
Yeah, make sure to check your window.
Yeah, I don't want to even explain that. Okay, so we left with the question, for people who are out doing all kinds of stuff for Valentine's Day or whatever, and the feelings of loneliness that you shared, and jealousy even, and the question was, what are you really, truly missing out on? So I don't know if you thought about that since then, but
I have. It's like, you're just missing out on the experience, once you see something, humans, once we all see something, we get this want, and we like, I want to experience this, even if it completely sucks, we still want to be able to try it, so for example, like, let's say someone who's never been in a relationship, they get sad around Valentine's because, like, they want to experience a relationship, they want to see what it's like, good or bad, and they don't get the chance to. They get rejected, and that's just the main issue, just that we don't really get the chance this yet. It feels.
Would you say that when we say relationship, because like, do you think that any relationship is better than no relationship?
Of course not, but it's like I said, it's the experience. People still want to. A lot of people to rather experience something,
right?
Sort of relationship.
It's like almost if we took something and we said, okay, so if there was like here, I'm gonna use paper. Nope, I can't use that. I didn't go anywhere, I swear. Okay, this wasp meeting paper. Perfect. Okay, so if we said, okay, here's your start date for the relationship, right here. And so you can get into this relationship. It's going to last for 5 months. You'll have some highs over here, some lows over here, but eventually it's going to end over here. And typically when teenage dating relationships end, would you say that they end on a positive note, or would you say that they end on a dramatic, maybe? I don't know. What would you say? What's your opinion?
Course, I believe it ends bad for most relationships. I mean, not every relationship ends bad, but for most of them it does. Okay. So if we showed you, okay, you can have this dating relationship here, and here's the highs and lows, and what the great things you'll experience, and whatever, like you're saying, having that experience, but ultimately it's going to end up over here, and the end is not going to be nice, and it'll probably be painful, and whatever. Would you say, yes, I'm willing to enter into this agreement, knowing that the outcome would end up that way? It depends on the person. Me personally, I would say, like, maybe, because even then it's still, like I said, it's still experience. It still has enough to show, like, okay, well, this is, this is how you could possibly do something better, and, how you can improve yourself, and how even if you don't get to know one, you could at least say, hey, well, I wasn't one, it was okay, it was this, that.
Right. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying, it's so interesting how, like, there are so many, I feel like the things that people experience in relationships, especially teenagers, but how many people are really better versions of themselves because they were in a dating relationship versus might have been a healthier version of themselves if they hadn't been in a dating relationship?
See that goes in, like, different territory. That goes in, like how the relationship itself, like, what you're in a relationship for. There are people in there who like, because a lot of people go in because they want to see the experience, but when they go in, they get a different mindset. They say, like, okay, well, maybe I just want to do it, just for fun. I want to see how it is. Others, they go in for, like, I want us to be serious, loving, or do all this stuff. Some are just straight up being like, okay, well, I just want a piece of meat to use at night.
Right.
So it's all for
Might have to edit that, but that's okay.
Hey, I was keeping it appropriate.
Right.
Somewhat.
Hey,
No, but
being honest.
like it's all different, and it really just depends on how they treat the relationships themselves.
So, and that's because. Do you feel like you have a talk to me about like your mindset going into a relationship? Like if you were dating somebody, what's the point of that? Like what would you be attempting to do?
For me, I think a good relationship would be like just for us to try to not just get together for fun, but to always try to make sure we're better than what we were before. Make sure that if we had this mistake yesterday, well then, you know, within a few days it'll be done. We could try to improve whatever flaws we've had, and also to sacrifice things for each other, you know, like
Right.
you know, like sacrifice, like, yeah, you know, we may not be able to do something like hang out with certain people anymore or do certain things with people anymore, but like in return, you know, like the other person does the same, and you know, you end up like just creating like happiness together, like
Right.
a bond.
So what I find interesting in what you just said is you use the phrase "we" quite often. And I think there's a lot of maturity and understanding that the "we" part is the big part of the relationship. You have to do your part. The other person needs to do their part in order for the relationship to work.
Yeah.
But as ready and prepared as you might feel that you are for a relationship, in order for that to work, do you think that the other person needs to be of the same mindset?
Maybe not the exact same, but at least agreeable enough to make it work. You know,
Right.
like for example, if for me at least, like if I have to stop talking to a friend, okay, fine, maybe I'll be able to do that. But in return, you have to stop talking to someone as well. You know, or it's going to be an issue. You know, I can't just sacrifice this thing and you just get away with it. You know?
So okay, so like you're looking for like reciprocation in that.
Yeah.
Think about this is interesting. So think about all the girls you know. So let's break down relational readiness into a couple different categories. So let's say being emotionally ready to be in a relationship, like having the emotional maturity and what it takes to be in a relationship. Can you think of another dynamic of
Emotional. I slept. Emotional. Yep. I'm again trying to think. Like, there's an emotional aspect to it. It's also a healthiness aspect.
like your own personal healthiness? Like, are you just a healthy individual?
I mean, yeah, you know, because you can be happy doing something, but if you're like just completely off the grid, you know,
Right. Yeah.
and you're just like doing things that are constantly unhealthy. It's
Yeah, if
probably
you're
best.
like emotionally, like I'm totally ready to be in a relationship, but also have a pretty serious meth addiction.
Yeah, you know, it's
There's going to be a little bit of a conflict there.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, you know, like just because someone's happy doesn't mean they're healthy.
Yes, very true.
You know, and then they also have to consider like
Pretty sure I said that, but whatever.
You might have said that one point.
Just kidding.
No, but there's also
there's also take credit for everything, Steven.
I'll take credit for it.
Right, yeah.
No, there's also you also have to think like beneficially too. You know, what I mean, like let's say, you know, like if you're trying to get together because you know like you think it'd be a healthy relationship, but like let's say like everyone around you says like that's not good. Everyone's suggesting like it wouldn't be good, and you like have a lot of conflicts. You know, you have to think like it probably would be a best benefit just to stay away from that.
Right, right. Well, and then are we assessing enough to understand that like if is someone emotionally healthy? Are they healthy just in and of themselves, like how they handle themselves, how they handle conflict, how they handle family issues? And then maybe assessing their mental healthiness, like what is their perception of a relationship, like what do they believe the role is of the girlfriend and of the boyfriend, and whatever, and understanding all those things. So let me ask you this question, and then I know we're coming up on time, and so then we'll close it, and then we'll meet again tomorrow. But of all the women that you know now, who would be available, of course, right, that you could date, But can you? How many of those girls are ready in those three categories? Individual, just overall healthiness, their own emotional healthiness, and their own mental healthiness, to the point where they would be like able to be a healthy partner in a healthy relationship, in your opinion?
Honestly, maybe only like 1 or 2 girls. I think the issue with a lot of them, and not just with girls in general, but just with everyone, is sacrifice. People always want like the best in someone, but they don't want to like experience the worst. Like, they always want to get with people, and they always want the partner to be loyal. Yet they don't want to be loyal themselves. They want to like have to sacrifice all the people they're talking to, and they always want someone who's like always gonna be there for them at all times. But yeah, they don't want to make any time for them. So it's always sacrifice. I believe is one of the biggest issues when it comes to relationships.
Right. And it's tough. It's kind of like being hungry, but only being around like fast food restaurants all over the place, and it's like horrible, greasy food, and you're like, I can't deny that I'm hungry, because I am. That's a very natural thing, but am I worth sacrificing my state of hunger right now to put this horrible stuff in my body that's eventually gonna, make me throw up and have diarrhea?
Yeah, talk about.
So, with that being said, we'll just toss that around, and then when we meet up again, we'll kind of we'll continue to flow off of this, because I think you're making a lot of really valid points, and I think that sometimes it's healthy. Can't deny how you feel, the wanting the experience and the loneliness, and for sure you want things to appease or meet those needs, but then sometimes the things that we do, the decisions we make to not feel lonely anymore, not feel whatever, sometimes have a worse effect. And I wonder if when we make those decisions, it doesn't leave us sitting there going, was that really worth it? Like, yeah, I wasn't lonely for that night or for that day or for that month that we dated, whatever, but with all the unhealthiness that brought into my life, was it worth the entirety of that experience?
Yeah.
So it's always a healthy question, I think, for us to ask. We'll leave it at that. Yay!